Hello everyone, and welcome to another UCAT video. So this actually is just going to follow on from all the other little tutorials that I've done and everything. So we've already gone through those five main sorts of mini tutorials, just giving you guys an absolute basic introduction to everything the UCAT, verbal reasoning, decision making, quantitative reasoning, abstract reasoning, and situational judgment. And now we're just going to go through just an extra little side component right here, which is going to act as like a precursor to many of like the self-help, or not necessarily even the self-help, but just more of like instructional mental health sort of guides and everything. Try to keep yourself healthy for the UCAT. In addition to just having a pure theoretical knowledge and everything, it's also very important to just have this more practical knowledge, because it is absolutely important that you keep yourself mentally healthy for the UCAT itself, and that will affect you so massively for everything else. So just before I get started, I just want to explain that my face seems to have these sorts of red marks, and I promise it doesn't actually look that bad. I think it's like some post-shower sort of inflammation or something. And really shocked. And also kind of stressed right now because I actually have a volunteering sort of training day tomorrow, and it's 12:30, and I got to wake up at like 6:30. So yeah, it's not going to be really good. And I'm really sorry if I crash the car tomorrow. To anyone who's actually watching this video who happens to be from my program, I don't think there's going to be anyone, but in case there is, just for that. But yeah, so just to get immediately started and everything. So yeah, today is just going to be a bit of a quick sort of run through on just simply mental health and everything, because the thing is that mental health is actually very important for your success in the UCAT. If you don't have good mental health, you're not going to do well in the UCAT and everything. And I think it's very important for me to actually just set this up as a sort of precursor. And I think it sort of varies from like a sort of traditional sort of UCAT tutoring and everything, where you just learn purely theory sort of base. I'm really trying to focus on a holistic sort of understanding for you all for my UCAT tutoring service, and hopefully that can sort of be carried through and everything for your own sort of personal learning and your success in later life as well. So yeah, here we go. So going to just discuss the importance of mental health for UCAT success. And of course, just want to say as well that I do offer discounted private and group tutoring as well. And you can just access that through the actual tutor finder link, which I've just posted there. Just type that in the bar. You can also find it in the description as well. And yeah, pretty much it offers just some information about my credentials and everything as a UCAT tutor. And you can just access my contact details as well to contact me if you happen to be looking for tutoring or just any questions regarding the content discussed within any of these videos, any general UCAT help as well. I'm very glad to provide. And of course, you can get discounted tutoring as well by just mentioning you got it on YouTube. I just want to say one little extra thing that I apologize if I'm talking a little bit quieter today. It's just really late at night. Okay. So quick overview and everything, just a quick precursor in the video, give you guys my story and talk about what actually is mental health and why you need good mental health, and just offering a final summary right after that as well. Alrighty. So quick precursor and everything, just to start off, it's just going to say that it's a very, very loose video format and everything. So I'm not going to have much text and everything. As you guys know, my PowerPoints usually do have a bit more text and everything when I'm trying to explain pure concepts and everything. Here's just like a speak to the camera video and everything, which I'm going to try to guide using a PowerPoint. It's a very little text. It's a very casual style of video and talking and everything. I'm just going to talk to you guys very casually about my story and everything, just your mental health. And just want to remind you all that you're not actually in the lesson right now. And hopefully you don't really necessarily feel that entirely with my other videos. It's a more casual sort of chat. It's just a sort of heart-to-heart sort of talk and everything, when I'm just sort of really trying to explain to you guys why you really need to focus in on this. Very little text and PowerPoints, and it's not a research video as well. So I really want to note that as well. It's not a research video where I'm going to like highlight, the 50,000 lines of evidence for mental health and everything, explain like, oh, how these paths work and everything. Oh, these paths and everything in the brain, like, left and right of the brain, the cortexes and everything. It's just going to be a very personal and anecdotal sort of video and everything. And I hope that a bit of good advice can actually be taken from this as well. I'm not trying to stress you guys. It's just a heart-to-heart talk. Okay, so before I actually want to start with this, I just want to sort of start just going off of my story and everything. And I'm about to just sort of stop sharing my screen to just go back to the main camera and everything as well. But I just sort of wanted to just sort of introduce my sort of situation and everything as well. So that's actually a picture of me just last year and everything. And I guess why I sort of included it there was just because it's just sort of like encapsulation of the idea that you never really can tell whether anyone is actually going through any sort of mental health issues. So this is actually me at a ball for my degree, med ball. And actually, and I'd say I didn't look too sort of sad and everything. I'd say I actually looked pretty happy myself there. But in fact, I was actually going through quite a lot of stuff at that time and everything, which I'm not going to go through in this sort of video. I'll only go through it in a slight sort of amount, actually. But I guess in a sense as well, in addition to saying that it's pretty unclear that I was actually going through anything. It's at the same time, can say it was actually pretty clear that I actually was going through a bit of crap at the time as well. I'd honestly look back at this and just think that, oh my God, my hair was so disgusting and everything. Like, like honestly, everything about this photo is disgusting. And honestly, I cringe really badly looking at it because honestly, I thought I looked disgusting there. And I cannot believe this. People say I look like an ogre in this photo. And I actually think I completely agree. This is absolutely like nightmare fuel and everything for me. And I'm not saying I actually look much better nowadays and everything. I'm still going through like, these issues and everything, in terms of just simply trying to improve myself in this sort of aspect. But at least I can say that I'm actually trying to improve myself now, instead of this sort of state and everything. And hopefully I do look a little bit better than that. But this is truly, truly a tragic point of me and everything. And although I'm only 5% of the way improved and everything, and there's so much more work to do, I can say I've improved a little bit from this, but there's a lot more to do and everything. I'm not saying like I'm actually at the sort of anywhere near I'm happy in terms of my physical sort of form right now, but that's just me going off about the picture. I'm sorry, I'm not meant to actually really be doing that. But I really just want to sort of just start off and everything because with my own sort of story of mental health and everything. So the thing is that all I can pretty much just say was that I'm just going to pretty much just go right to the sort of UCAT period and everything as well, and the sort of trials period. So year 12 for me, that was, actually 4 years ago now, was actually just like a very stressful sort of time in my life and everything. So, in addition to actually just studying for the HSC and everything to try to get the ATAR and all to get into medicine, I was kind of stupid and everything. And I didn't actually really have much drive and everything in terms of medicine. So the thing was that what I actually ended up doing was that I actually made a mistake in booking my UCAT time, and I ended up booking my UCAT right in the middle of the trials. So to just summarize it, I was just pretty much trying to study for the ATAR and also study for the HSC, and study for the trials at the same time. And the thing is that what this ended up doing to me was that it ended up causing me to have like an immense amount of stress and everything, trying to study for both topics at the sort of same time. And the thing is that, I felt like, I was actually really sacrificing a lot with like a lot and everything with like my sort of life and everything. So studying for both of these things as well, just feeling so much stress and so much pressure and everything. I really sacrificed a lot of things in my life and everything. I really sacrificed, socializing with other people and everything, forming connections and getting, the experiences that, one's meant to get in high school and everything. Trying to like, just connecting with friends and everything, experiencing like, things like other people, going out and everything, just socializing and just overall developing myself as a person, finding my hobbies and ambitions as well. Like, I was into basketball, but, because I was just so focused and everything on studying, I was into watching basketball and never actually going outside and playing basketball, just experiencing nature and like the real world and everything. I didn't focus on the gym and everything. And I think it goes without saying for many people that, the gym is actually a very important place to be. And actually, I'd be back there, went for another injury, but I do promise to be back there soon. But it is, I did end up missing the gym, and all these things are very important aspects of your life, which you really need to develop and everything. And I just unfortunately just got myself a bit too hampered down and everything, because of the stress of that, and also just like some mental health issues I ended up facing as well. So I did end up facing like a mental health issue, which is simply just by the stress and everything, just like, causing me to just be unfortunately a bit distracted and everything with my sort of studying. And, with that sort of issue as well, it actually ended up affecting me as well because it caused me to just overinvest my time here and there and just didn't allow me to focus in properly on like studying and everything, and trying to study as well for like, the ATAR and UCAT at the same time and everything. So it was like I already had this very stressful situation, and then now we just add like this very, very extra sort of very strong sort of stress on top of that as well, which is something that really ended up trucking me and everything quite massively. So that was one of the things that really, really ended up sucking massively for me. And just as well, even just like when actually trying to do the UCAT exam as well, it actually came to bite me because I ended up just facing so much stress and everything that actually ended up wasting countless minutes that I could have used. So pretty much like the stress caused me to be so, out of it and everything, that literally in the abstract reasoning section, so you would have found out that you don't really have much time to do abstract reasoning, 12 minutes and everything for those questions. And I think back then my day was 13. And what I ended up doing was that I actually wasted like 30 seconds just clicking back and forth repetitively on a question. So I already done it. I was already confident in my answer, but then I just kept clicking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to the same question, just because I was just feeling too stressed and everything. And this continued for like quantitative reasoning as well, and really ate a lot of time out for me as well. So the thing is that fast forward to like, just a few years later and everything, you know, I really found that, you know, the mental health issues didn't actually end up improving and everything, and actually just ended up getting even more and more distracted and everything. And even in med and everything, you know, my grades were still passing and everything. But then the thing was that I needed to actually, you know, I'm just not the standard actually was. I'm a very, very focused person when it comes to these sorts of things. And at the very least, everyone says P's get degrees. But of course, I still wanted to get a credit to get into honors. And even though I've managed that and I'm still there, the thing is that my averages had actually decreased just a little bit and everything over the years, and that didn't actually end up impressing me. And I guess the sort of point of what I'm trying to say is that, you know, I'm now, you know, this third year going to the fourth year and everything. And the thing is that, you know, I'm actually like, you know, I've actually feel like with like the actual, I've come to actually massively improve my mental health and everything and achieve my own happiness through like many techniques and everything that I've learned from many other places. And even though I'm not absolutely there yet and everything, and I've got a lot more way to go, I'm definitely a bit better than I was back in the day. And I can just say right now that with these sort of mental health improvements that I've sort of faced and everything, um, that I've actually ended up finding myself much more productive in life and everything. So I was actually, you know, trying to do well with this UCAT business of mine as well. I was trying to like, you know, help one of my visions and one of my goals is to really try to introduce and just try to like, you know, take well, not take over, but just like to offer high quality UCAT coaching to the rest of Sydney and everything, and to actually help other people who've gone through the similar journey with me. Not just about offering like a quick and earning a quick buck and everything like that, but to actually try to improve the lives of other students with me. And that was my vision. That was my goal. I had a tribe. I had like a sort of like, you know, a crew with me that I want to help, like, you know, the struggling people who just face the same sort of stressful, sacrificial situations with me. But unfortunately, my mental health got me far too in my head and everything. And only when I was actually able to improve it, going towards now, just a few months ago and everything, I'd say, in fact, that actually I've been able to just sort of bring myself back to this venture and everything. And I've, you know, found myself exercising and everything. I finally, you know, whether people think I need to go on a diet or not is irrelevant. I've been able to actually stick successfully to my diet and actually lose 8 kilograms just over a few months. It's like 3 kilograms a month, which is like, you know, it's not crazy or anything, but it's progress that I'm proud of, that I've making little steps towards and everything. You know, I've gotten myself into other hobbies. I've tried to get myself into routine, organize my life a lot better and everything. And you know, these have just come from like just improving my mental health, because this sure as hell wouldn't have actually been happening without my mental health improvements. And now that I've actually gotten to a situation where I've gotten a bit better with that, it's actually helping me so much and everything with my actual just function and everything. And I found that I've been able to be more connected to other people. I'm willing to go out as well. I'm willing to take opportunities. So I'm really just sort of saying that, you know, improving mental health is actually very, very important for your own personal situation. You will actually be massively inhibited from anything that you want to do, no matter how driven you are, because I don't want to be like, you know, boastful and everything or cocky, but then I do want to say that I'm a very, very exceptionally driven person and everything. And even I found myself to be hampered by this. And yeah, it's very important for you to just continue to work and drill on that. Otherwise, you're not going to find yourself really getting anywhere with your actual achievements if you don't actually improve your mental health. And I've learned that very recently as well, that mental health really truly is the backbone for everything successful. But anyways, before I'm just going to go into that's my story and everything. The story was a bit too long, but that's my main story, and hopefully you guys are able to get a bit of it and explaining and understanding as to why, you know, it's very important. Of course, I should have said at the start that you should have maybe skipped it. But I will just go on to the if you don't feel it's actually important, but we'll actually just go on to the actual main sort of just regular material now and everything. I sort of just elaborate exactly what I mean and everything. So that's my story and everything. Disgusting photo, and I hope there's a much more bulked and physically impressive version of myself that I can be happy with later. But that's something down the line, and that's something I'm going to try to resolve for myself. But anyways, now I want to sort of talk about what mental health actually is and everything. Okay, so there's a sort of medical definition of mental health, which I've already sort of broken down for you guys, but it's just sort of about your emotional, psychological, and social well-being and everything. So mental health is not just about, you know, psychological. So this is what I sort of alluded to right here and everything. You know, it's not just about the sort of psychological sort of part and everything. So many people just sort of look at mental health and everything and actually just think of it as, oh, it's just like, you know, it's like, oh, depression, anxiety. So, you know, when you think about, you know, mental health and everything, people just think, oh, you know, or issues and everything. They just think you may be depressed, you may be anxious. In fact, you know, having depression, anxiety is very true, and it's a very relevant sort of condition as well. And many people are very massively hampered by this. And I've known people in my life who actually have been afflicted by anxiety, or maybe just one person, everything, who's been afflicted by anxiety and everything. And it can be very hampering to the other person. And it has been very hampering as well. It's very true and relevant, but there is a bit more to this as well. And the thing is that, as a sort of definition sort of just goes and everything as well, it's better to actually explore mental health as just being the absence of just constraints on your brain. So this, of course, includes depression, anxiety, but you have to consider that there may be other mental health issues that you have, like ADHD, which one of my students have had previously in the past, which affected their ability to concentrate on everything. OCD, another sort of condition that one of my students have had in the past that affected their ability to concentrate on everything. So the person wasn't actually depressed or anxious because of these conditions and everything. But then the thing is that, they were just still hampered overall. And that meant that the person had poor mental health and wasn't able to actually focus properly and everything. And all three in the definition actually end up tying to each other. So in some sort of sense, so just, if, so of course, if you have like ADHD or OCD, you might have depression or anxiety from the difficulties it causes in your life, but also just talking about emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Even though it mainly stems from psychological well-being, you generally will find that it has added effects to emotional well-being and social well-being. If you have, say, like a condition such as ADHD, you're not able to concentrate, it's going to be hard for you to get into yourself in social situations and emotional situations. And you're going to find yourself a lot more emotional, a lot more, sad and depressed or anything like that. Or if, you don't have good emotional well-being and, you're just like, find that it's difficult to regulate your emotions. It's going to cause these psychological issues. It's going to cause these social issues when being able to be with other people, because not being able to control your emotions is a backbone for driving people away sometimes and everything. Of course, there are people who are trying to help you, but then of course, if you're too sort of like, out of control and everything, it doesn't actually end up helping your case at all. So it all ends up tying to each other in some sort of way and everything. It's very, very important to actually understand that, you do really need to get the fucking, sorry, but you do need to get, you really do need to get the fucking your control of your health, your mental health and everything, because, they all are pillars and they all collapse with each other if you can't get one straight. All right. So why do you actually need good mental health and everything? So this is the sort of main crux of it. So simply put, if you need good mental health is going to be the backbone for everything as it is. So it's important to maintain good discipline and focus in the UCAT journey and everything. So everything that I sort of alluded to and everything before my sort of story and everything, you just can't be disciplined if you wake up every day feeling terrible and everything. So I just want you to just sort of imagine this and everything, okay? So just imagine if you're sort of like in a sort of house and everything. Just imagine just for yourself the days that you've been feeling really sad and everything. On the days where you've been feeling really sad and depressed and everything, do you really find yourself actually being able to actually wake up and actually do stuff for yourself? Do you find that's actually okay for you to be able to get yourself out of bed in the morning and everything, and actually do work and, write like that essay or anything like that, or just write like that story, or just like, go meet for like a society event or anything like that with other people? No, you want to stay at home and you want to just lie in bed and do nothing and everything. And this can be extended when you think about, if you unfortunately had a friend in your life who's actually depressed, which is very unfortunate for that person as well, then, you can probably understand that friend as well has, been retreating and everything like that. When you actually see people who are depressed, they just naturally retreat and everything. Their rooms just get cluttered and everything, because the thing is that just too depressed and out of it and actually cannot actually get themselves getting to actually do things, because the thing is that they're just so sad inside, they can't actually get anything. And this is the sort of issue with mental health as well. So if you don't actually have good mental health, and the things, if you don't actually have this sort of happiness inside you and everything, or at least a sort of mental stability inside you, then it's going to be very hard to actually discipline yourself and everything, because the thing is that, it just becomes a chore. UCAT studying, and that hour a day that you need to dedicate for UCAT studying just becomes a chore, and it's not really passion anymore. You're sort of trucking yourself through it. And the thing is that for many things in life, if you just truck yourself through it and everything, it becomes harder and everything, because the thing is that, it's just simply a chore and not a passion, as I mentioned, and everything. So the thing is that, what you're doing by having poor mental health is that you're pretty much, you can have the best discipline, but then the things that the task becomes harder. So remember that discipline, hardness of a task works in a sort of like combination with each other and everything, where you may have like a easy task which only requires easy discipline and low discipline, and a hard task which requires hard discipline. But the thing is that if you just keep jacking up the hardness of the task, then no matter how high your discipline actually is, you're not going to be able to actually get toward it and everything. And of course, that just means that your discipline, and of course your discipline naturally falls as well, because the thing is that you just become less motivated as well. So tasks become harder, and you actually end up becoming less disciplined. So the key for actually optimal discipline in studying is just to have good mental health. You'll not actually be able to focus and do anything with the UCAT, because if you're bad with bad mental health, because things just become hard and everything. And of course, when I say bad mental health, I also mean, bad with like, with unfortunate depression or anything like that, or anxiety. Sometimes you may have like another mental health condition, such as ADHD or something like that, which is not going to make you necessarily feel depressed and anxious. But then the thing is that this ADHD will actually end up causing you to not be able to focus and everything, and make that UCAT studying harder, which makes it much more difficult for you to just simply want to get into it. And therefore, which actually just end up decreasing your discipline as well. So the thing is that if you want to actually have good discipline and everything and good focus, then you need to actually learn to be able to make the task easy for yourself at the very least and everything. It's not just about having a very hard task and pushing through it. That is a very good sphere of discipline, to have something very hard in front of you and to be able to do it. But then the thing is that you do need to at least make the task easier for yourself first, which just makes it easy in general, and it gives you a platform for developing your discipline. Because I like to consider discipline as like a sort of muscle which you need to train. You can't expect to do like the really hard stuff, such as going for like a 2-hour workout at the gym, if you can't even make your bed in the morning or something like that, or put on sunscreen before you leave the house, or just like make sure that you're hydrated, or just simply put your phone down for like a minute so you can talk to your family. So in order to develop all those things, you need to start from a good base, and that base is solid mental health and everything. And this is all sort of mentioned here and everything. If you do find a way to slog it out, if you do decide to find a way to push through bad mental health and push through, and actually you've got immense discipline, you try to push through it, you just end up being massively limited because your mind's just not going to be there and everything. You'll be sitting there, but you're going to be sitting there not really truly focused, typing your keyboard, such that everything just goes so quickly and everything. You're going to find that it's like a slog and everything. You're just going to find that you're just like, oh, so tired. You're just like kind of staring at the screen, lapsing, your mind's wandering to like, other things that you want to do, just like lying in bed or playing games or anything like that. Your productivity just naturally massively decreases. And this is for the most disciplined people and everything. You just sit there, and instead of typing and, going in a full grind and everything, you're going to be like half focused, half assing everything, writing like at 10% productivity, just sort of like staring at your screen, not really being able to, find much to write and everything, because the thing is your mind's wandering 90% of the time and everything, and you can't really get it to focus and everything properly and everything until you really, really need to and everything. You will be able to find that you can focus, and you will be able to actually type and everything. You will be able to actually, hone in and actually, get typing and actually be able to get busy and actually write and everything and be there, but it's just not going to be at the same level as actually if you actually had just simply done it properly and everything, and gotten good mental health and actually found a way to make it not a slog, but just something fun. Okay. And of course, you can improve your mental health. So if you're finding difficulties with your mental health right now, there's small techniques that take around just 30 minutes to an hour, and it'll be discussed in a future video, but the input to output ratio is huge and everything, because your 30 minutes of 1 hour that you dedicate per day will actually end up leading you to just end up saving 3 or 4 or 5 hours a day and everything. So it just makes logical sense. And of course, it's not just about small techniques. Sometimes it's very obvious as well. Say you have ADHD and everything, just go see a medical professional, go see a psychologist or something like that, and actually get your help for the condition, get the medications or just the behavioral therapy or something like that that you need to actually solve it as well. And that's the sort of thing that I really want to mention as well, that it's not just about the techniques that you do, but sometimes it's just about really taking initiative to actually try to push through and improve your mental health and everything, and try not to get swallowed. It's very hard, and I can understand. But then the thing is that it is a very important push that you do need to find yourself able to make. And if you do have any issues with that, please do contact me. But yeah, that's a sort of summary right here. So that's just that and everything. So that's why you really need to improve your mental health. So just to give a quick summary, it's just described as the emotional, psychological well-being of a social well-being of a person. Of course, we have depression, anxiety, and loneliness, which are major aspects of mental health issues. But of course, there's just a few more worth considering than these, such as, for example, ADHD, OCD, or just simply just having difficulties regulating your emotions or anything like that, with maybe disorders such as bipolar disorder or something like that. And of course, good mental health is absolutely paramount for maintaining motivation, discipline for UCAT success, because if you do not, everything becomes a slog, and you'll be sitting there at your screen and everything, just sort of like, at 10% focus and everything. You're looking at it, you're just thinking, but the words don't come as well as they want to and everything. Well, they do come very well and everything, but you still find the motivation to really type them down and everything. They come perfectly fine. Your brain's fine. It's coming at 100% capacity, but you just kind of write it down. And of course, it can be improved if deficient, through a series of small techniques, and the input to output ratio is substantial. Also make sure that you actually improve yourself by just simply taking the initiative to actually take that appointment and everything if you have like ADHD or something like that. Not just about these little techniques. These little techniques will not improve that, but actually addressing and trying to destroy those mental health conditions is also very important as well. So that sort of brings me to the end of the video. Just a very quick video, just discussing the sort of mental health aspects and everything, giving you a bit of a taste of my sort of story, which of course I can elaborate on if you guys choose to message me and want me to elaborate on that as well, just through like a lesson or contacting me as well. But I do think that mental health is actually extremely important. I'm not going to put that much of a plug in everything for my private group tutoring as well. Just make sure you visit it. There'll be this sort of, if you really want to as well, it's a more sort of serious video. So I'm not going to put too much of a plug in here. As I might have usually done at the end and everything. Of course, as well, if you want to just simply check the description, you'll be able to find the link to that. Also, the link to my Discord server. We can join an online and very bustling UCAT community for really trying to pursue and improve your UCAT scores and everything, and to find other people in similar situations as you with the UCAT. And of course, just as well, the lesson notes as well. But of course, this is mainly a talking face-to-face sort of video that I've sort of been trying to make for you all, okay? So just remind you guys all, just before I sign off, if you want to get 3,000, you're going to have to aim for 3,600. All right, love you all. Bye-bye.